Hey guys! So I'm back to experimenting again. I have 3 pours to share with you this time. Testing out new ways to create cells in acrylic pouring is kind of a hobby of mine. I've shared several different additive experiments in the past. Some of them were amazing, some of them were kind of so-so. This run of pours was my first go at using Penetrol as an additive. It's kind of like Floetrol and made by the same company, but it's made to be used with oil-based paints. It's been on my list for things to test for a while now, so on my last supply trip, I went ahead and grabbed a can of it. So, to start out with, I mixed all of my colors with Floetrol. I'm using 5-ounce cups, and I just eyeball the even distribution of the medium across them. Once I get all the colors mixed, I can go back and fine-tune the consistency. I like using a dropper to add my water. Once you accidentally pour half a bottle of water into a cup of mixed paints a few times, you might end up doing the same. I usually don't break out the scale when I'm working with Floetrol. It's a very forgiving medium, so I don't find it too beneficial to be that precise with it. This is one of those rare cases where I wanted to be more exact. If the mixture turned out to be awesome, I wanted to make sure I knew exactly how to recreate it. So, I'm going to go ahead and recommend that you only use the Penetrol in an open space and don't be like me. Wear some gloves. It has some petroleum products in it, so just be safe if you test it out. It's very thin, so I decided to treat it like Minwax Pre-Stain for the most part. I ended up weighing out 3 ounces of Floetrol and 0.10 ounces of Penetrol. Since I do these voiceovers after the fact, in hindsight, I would treat it exactly like the Pre-Stain and add in about 2 drops per ounce of Floetrol. That's a test for another day though. After I have all my paints mixed up and tested on the plastic, it's time to move on to the canvases. For the first 2 pours, I'm using the swipe method. For the third, I switch it up with an open cup. In an effort to keep this from being an hour-long video, I'm cutting most of the boring parts and getting straight to the action. At the end, I'll have some close-ups of each canvas so you'll be able to see which one you like the best. In the past, I've played around with a couple of oil paints that I picked up on clearance. At the same time, I grabbed an additive that can be used with oil paints to make them water soluble. So, of course, I mixed those up with the additive and then used some Liquitex pouring medium to pour with. The results were kind of lackluster, but I think it might be fun to revisit the oil paint pouring with the Penetrol. All in all, I think that oil paints are far too expensive to be pouring with, but I think it would be an interesting experiment to test oil paints in cell activator medium. In my mind, I think the best results would be with bloom pours. Mixing acrylic and enamel paints can have some interesting effects, but I think the bloom medium would get the best results. Okay, so enough rambling. I like the action that I'm getting with using the Penetrol as an additive. The next time I test it out, I'll be adding less of it to the Floetrol. I think the amount that I tested out today has a neat look, but I think we can make it even better. If you haven't already, make sure you subscribe to the channel so you don't miss the next set of experiments. I'm going to leave you to these pours. Check out the close-ups at the end to see which pour you prefer. Leave me a comment below and let me know what you think. That's going to be it from me. I hope you guys enjoy the rest of the video. I'll see you next time. Bye!